In the 13th century, Mycenaean colonists founded the colonies that were to become the Greek cities of Paphos, which was sacred to Aphrodite, and Citium, birthplace of the Stoic Zeno, and Cyprian Salamis, and I suppose you could also say where Solon paused in his wanderings to replace chaos with law. Greek historians traditionally assign the siege of Troy to 1194 to 1184 BC. So, who were the Trojans? An Egyptian papyrus mentions the Dardani as among the allies of the Hittites at the Battle of Kadesh in 1287. It is likely that these were the ancestors of the Dardani, who in Homer's terminology are one with the Trojans. The theory here is, probably these Dardani were of Balkan origins and crossed the Hellespont in the 16th century with their kindred Phrygians and settled in the lower valley of the Scamander. Herodotus, however, identified the Trojans with the Teucrians, and the Teucrians, according to Strabo, were Cretians who settled in Troad, perhaps after the fall of Knossos. Both Crete and Troad had a sacred Mount Ida, the many-fountained Ida of Homer and Tennyson. In the heroic Homeric age, the Achaeans had become the most powerful of the Greek tribes, and Homer uses their name for all the Greeks at Troy. The Achaean civilization agreed with the Mycenaeans in many ways, and it differed in vital particulars. Now list 5 of them. Number 1. Iron is practically unknown to the Mycenaeans and is commonplace with the Achaeans. Number 2. The dead in Homer are cremated. Number 3. The Achaean gods are Olympians, of whom no trace has been found in the culture of Mycenae. Number 4. The Achaeans use long swords, round shields, and safety pin brooches. No objects of such forms appear in the various Mycenaean remains. Number 5. There are considerable dissimilarities in the coiffure and dress. Greek literature says nothing of an Achaean invasion, and it would be unwise to hang a rejection of so unanimous a tradition upon a gradual increase in the use of iron, a change in the modes of burial or coiffure, a lengthening of the sword or rounding of the shield, or even a safety pin. It is more likely the Achaeans, as all classical writers supposed, were a Greek tribe that, in its natural multiplication, expanded from Thessaly into the Peloponnesus during the 14th and 13th centuries, mingled blood with the Pelasgo-Mycenaeans there, and, toward 1250 BC, became the ruling class. It was Theseus who brought order and power to Athens, ended the sacrifice of her children to Minos, and gave people security on the road by slaying the highwayman, Procrustes, who liked to stretch or even cut the legs of his captives to make them fit his bed. After Theseus's death, Athens worshipped him too as a god. As late as 476, in the skeptical age of Pericles, the city brought the bones of Theseus from Skyros and deposited them as sacred relics in the tomb of Theseus.